Welcome to the show where I take a deep dive into a dish I've never made before and we learn to cook it together. And today we're making our own bacon. Dry cure or wet cure? Pink salt or celery juice? Does this stuff taste as good as it looks and smells? And how does it hold up to the store-bought? We're about to find out on Deep Dish. If you're not a vegetarian, it's pretty hard to not love bacon. It's so good on its own, and it's an essential flavoring and ingredient in so many dishes that it is really indispensable in the kitchen. We're really just talking about a piece of salt-cured pork, and a variety of cuts are used, and some are smoked and some are not. I've made back bacon or Canadian bacon, and you can check that video out on the channel, but I've never actually made the most common kind of bacon here in the US, and that's the smoked pork belly bacon. So that's what I'm out to do today. Oh, Bacon Mania. I remember Bacon Mania, bacon toothpaste, and bacon vodka. What's the weirdest thing you ever had bacon on? What? Well, that chicken fried bacon does look pretty good. But I think that Bacon Mania bubble has burst, and we can get back to a little bacon normalcy. This isn't my first rodeo, and I got a pretty good idea of how this is gonna go, but let's take a look at what the internet has to say, and there is some debate over using a wet cure versus a dry cure. The difference being that with a wet cure, you're gonna soak that belly in a solution of water with the salt and the cure and any spices or flavorings you want to use, whereas in dry curing, you're simply gonna coat the belly with the salt and the cure and the flavoring. I've used the wet cure method for years on all different kinds of meat, and I would guess that it would give you a more even brining and an even flavor throughout the bacon. But since I rarely have used dry curing, I think I want to do that this time because this is all about learning new things. So now I'm going to research a bunch of recipes and see what I like, see what I don't, and see what I can come up with. I got a couple of nice slabs of pork belly here. This is skinless pork belly. And the research I was doing for these recipes, I saw several that left the skin on, but I just didn't think that would be a good idea from my experience with pig skin. It's very tough, hard to slice, and may even impede on some of that cure penetration. I've never even seen skin on bacon at the store either. So I figure I'll do a couple of different flavors today. I'll do sort of a brown sugar and black pepper, and then a maple flavor. So let's put those cures together. Now, I may have never made bacon before, but if you watch my videos, you know I'm no stranger to curing meat. And the basic ingredients for any cure are salt, some form of sugar to temper that saltiness, and the cure. And the cure is used to preserve and increase the shelf life of the meat, as well as kill any harmful bacteria that might want to grow in there. It'll also make it so your meat has a nice rosy color when you're finished smoking or drying it, rather than turning gray. There is some controversy about eating too much cured meat, and some people like to avoid it entirely. So now when you go into your grocery store, you'll see this whole section from the bacon to the hot dogs to the deli meats that claim to be uncured. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is at best a little misleading, and I probably have harsher words for that in private. You see, for all these processed meats, in the US at least, curing with nitrate is the law. And if you scroll down on those packages of uncured products and look at the fine print, you'll find something that says except the nitrate extracted from celery or celery juice or something to that effect. So they are concentrating the nitrate in the celery and then using it the same way as I'd use this. But since it comes from celery, they're allowed to call it a seasoning or a spice rather than the cure. But if it makes you more comfortable and you feel better about eating those products, go right ahead. Got no problem with that at all. You can make these products at home without using the cure. Just understand the differences and the risks that are involved. So that meat is not going to be preserved as long. It will need to be refrigerated. And I would never make any kind of a ground cured meat like a sausage without using the cure unless I was going to cook that right away. Now for the black pepper, I've got a 3-pound piece of pork belly. I'm going to start with 3 tablespoons of plain salt, To which I'm going to add 1/3 a cup of packed brown sugar. And I always like to weigh out the cure so I can be very precise. And for this 3-pound piece of pork belly, I have 3 grams of cure. Now I just need to stir this together really well. I'll add in a good bunch of black pepper here. 3 tablespoons of black pepper. And mix that all really well together. And then we'll coat that piece of pork belly with it. Now I'll just get a nice coating of this on my pork belly. Push it in there a little bit. Even though you think it's coated, you want to use all of this so you get the right amount of cure in there. I'll go ahead and slip this into my freezer bag. And now I'm going to get all of this cure and get it into the bag as well. Now for my 2-pound maple bacon slab, I'm going to go with 2 tablespoons of salt. Still going to use 1/3 of a cup of sugar. So I want this to be a little sweeter with maple. Now I could use a whole bunch of maple syrup right here, but that stuff's really expensive, and I like to keep these recipes pretty practical, so I'm going to try some just maple extract here. And I'll probably start with a teaspoon, and I'll mix this up and taste it, and when it gets to the mapliness that I think is going to be good, I'll stop. Ooh, it smells plenty mapley already. I think 1 more half teaspoon will get it, so we'll call that 1.5 teaspoons of maple extract. And now I'll add in 2 grams of cure for that 2-pound piece of pork belly. Gonna make this one a little easier. I'm just gonna coat it right here in the bag. Well, I hope you're not in too big of a hurry, because now these go out into the refrigerator to cure for a week. It smells so good in here. These have been out in the refrigerator for a day, and you can see that liquid starting to gather in there. And I just want to work that all around those pork bellies. Make sure it hits every bit, get that cure worked in really well, and then flip them over. And I'll keep doing this every day for a week. It's been a week of curing time, and I've been flipping and flopping these guys and massaging that cure in every day. And now it's time to take them out of the bags. I'll pat them dry with some paper towels, and then I'm going to put them on a rack so that air can get all around them. And I'll put these back out into the refrigerator to air dry for a day before smoking. And finally, after 8 days, I'm ready to get these out into the smoker, and I'm pretty excited about it. Everything is kind of dry here and feeling good. That pepper's stuck on there really well. They're also really firm at this point, so they've pulled out a little of that moisture and let that cure get in there and do its job. I've got my smoker preheated to 200 degrees. I'm going to run apple smoke on this today, and I'll put this temperature probe down into the center of one of these, and we'll pop it out into the smoker until I get an internal temperature of 150 degrees. Oh yeah. Whew, nice and smoky. I figure this will take around 3 hours. Alright, we're there. Let's see how we did. Oh ho ho. Oh, wow, look at that color. Oh, those are beautiful. Well, I'm gonna have to get these out of here and get these all the way cooled down before I can cut into them and fry some up. But boy, I am excited because that looks and smells fantastic. It's finally cooled down and ready to cut into. So let's see how we did. Boy, it sure looks like bacon to me. Now we're gonna fry some of this up and try it out. Have a look at that. Well, it certainly looks like proper bacon, and it cooked up like proper bacon. So now I guess all we gotta do is give it a try. That's that black pepper. It's good and crispy. Real meaty cut there. Now, how about that maple? Well now, these are both very good. They're not perfect. This is the first time doing this, so there are definitely some tweaks we can do here. The black pepper flavor is great. Got good black pepper, good smokiness, and the texture is perfect on both of them. And the maple flavor is a little too faint, so I would go a little heavier, probably twice as much as that maple extract. It's there, but it's not real mapley. It's hard to pick out. But the main thing with both of them is they're just a little bit too salty. So in conclusion, now that we're all bacon experts, I would say that if you drop the salt by about 30% in this recipe, you're going to end up with some really top shelf bacon at about half the price of the grocery store. So if you're a real bacon lover, this is well worth the time and effort to do regularly, but even if you're just a bacon hobbyist, a lot of fun to try at least once. So enjoy your homemade bacon, and be sure to check back often to see what we can learn on Deep Dish.